everyone, and welcome back to Master Site. This will be my game one from Adepticon Clash of Kings. In this matchup, am versing a brand new player. His name was Matt Tucker. He was from just north of St. Louis, about an hour it sounded like. And Matt told me that this is his first games of Kings of War. Definitely a lopsided matchup, obviously, but we were going to make the best of it and show Matt the ropes as far as some of the game mechanics, a lot of the rules and stuff that he hasn't been able to kind of learn as of yet. So this particular report's going to be a little bit shorter probably than the rest of them. I don't have as many pictures either. But here we go. So Matt is playing Undead. So his list was 3 regiments of zombies, a regiment of wraiths, 3 regiments of Soul Reaver infantry, a horde of zombie trolls, 2 hordes of wights, a Revenant King mounted with Surge, 2 necromancers, both with Surge and Banechant. One of them has the Inspiring Talisman. And then a vampire on Pegasus with Mace of Crushing and also has Surge 4. So this brings him out to 14 units with 28 unit strength. Pretty solid undead list. Honestly, he's taking a lot of the heavy hammers. He's got a couple of zombie regiments for objective holding. I think overall, list-wise, for playing Kings for the first time, he really nailed it in the list-building aspect. So big props to you on that one, Matt. So this is Matt, and there's a little bit of his undead here. And this is deployment. So first scenario was Invade. So we're just both trying to get across the board here. And Matt deployed a horde of wights on the left, one of the Soul Reaver infantry beside it, and the Rev King mounted there. 2 zombies flanked by a Soul Reaver infantry, the wraiths and horde of wights behind, with both necromancers. I believe the one on the left is inspiring. Then he has Undead Pegasus with the last Soul Reaver infantry, zombie trolls, and zombies. For me, I have a Butcher Flesh Ripper, 2 Mind Screeches, my Dreadfiend with the Trickster's Wand, horde of Scarecrows. Behind is a regiment of Soul Flares and the troop of Reapers. Next to that, we have a Butcher Flesh Ripper. Behind that is the Horror Riftweaver, horde of Scarecrows, Soul Flares, 3rd Butcher. Then we have a horde of Scarecrows, last regiment of Soul Flares, the Big Bad Shadow Hulk, and then off on the way far right is the last horde of Scarecrows. So terrain-wise, these big mats here and here are forests, impassable volcano, and this little rock feature with obstacle jetting out from both. Hill in the top left and bottom center, and then a flat difficult on the left-hand side over here. So we roll first turn, and I get first turn. So I run up like so here. Pretty basic, just pushing everything up. I ran the Shadow Hulk through. I just didn't want him lagging behind, and pushed everything else up as far as it could go. So realistically, the goal for this game was guarantee these 3 points across the board, and then just gonna kind of fight it out in the middle. I should mention Ronnie the Bard was placed after deployment. He put his Ronnie on his far left unit over here, and I put mine on the Shadow Hulk here. So we're both looking to kill those guys and keep them alive. Each is worth a additional victory point. So anyway, I just run up like so, use my butchers as kind of that first wave screen, and then everything else is slowly coming behind. So a little bit closer up on my left flank here, and the center and right there. And again, apologize for the picture skipping here. I was trying to help Matt out with some of the rules and movements and everything, and just kind of skip forward here. So he moves forward, and this is my turn 2. So I decide let's just go ahead and get into some combat. So I triple charge the Revenant, or the Soul Reaver infantry. So his Soul Reavers look more like skeletons, but there is no skeletons in the army, so it was easy to keep track of. In the center, I charge a zombie unit with this Butcher Flesh Ripper just to kind of hold up the lines while everything else pushes forward. And on the right, we push past the line, and then we go ahead and make a little bit more defensive stance over here. So with this positioning, all I needed to do was wind blast this unit an inch backwards, and then it was out of the Shadow Hulk's charge. And I believe this was a unit that had Elite, if I'm not mistaken, so I felt pretty comfortable with that. So this is how the board looked after my movement on turn 2. So Matt had pushed everything up just a little bit, but he kind of kept the line, his 5-inch shambling line, and then he just towed into the forest on this side. So shooting wise, I've been focusing on the whites on the left. Between 2 rounds of lightning bolt 12 shots, we've gotten up to 4 wounds. And then the combat, we did 12 wounds onto the I keep drawing a blank, but the vampires. And I had Dread, so I needed a 4 twice, but I did fail, so he is wavered. So I rolled a 3 then. And then just popped a couple wounds on the zombies, wasn't expecting much there. So this is the beginning of Matt's turn. And he was able to get a double charge in with this what's it called, vampire unit. So he charges these zombies out of the way. There's enough room then for him to smart charge, slide over, hit the front. And this is even after combat, so again, I apologize for not having better pictures in the movement. He ends up snakesing this guy after he put 15 wounds on him in this turn. So very unfortunate for Matt. On the left, he flanks the Butcher Flesh Ripper, and then he charges the character into here, and then he was able to pivot, move, and get a surge charge into the front with the wraiths surging from this caster here. And yeah, on my turn, I countercharge with just the Dread Fiend, kill him. I charge the wraiths over here. I don't want them to fly away. This is the post-combat reforms here, and Lightning Bolt put a few more wounds on these guys after he life leech. So looks like a decent round of Lightning Bolt. It did 4 wounds this turn. So yeah, let's catch up a little bit here. So I would have countercharged here. His double charge held there, and then he just moved up over here, and then I got the charge on my turn with these. Apologize for the blurry photo too. I got the flank and the front with Shadow Hulk onto the zombie trolls. We just charge into the zombies here. We'll be hindered, but just holding them up at this point. And then so this would be bottom of 3. So this was top of 3 was my movement there, and this is the end after combat. So killed the vampires on the left. I moved my Mind Screeches out of front arc of this one, back to the troop up out of attack range here as well, and just reposition. So now hopefully, yeah, we have a little bit better picture here. So I ended up double charging this zombie regiment and countercharging the Soul Reavers with combo of Dreadfiend and the devastated Butcher. But they have a couple wounds on them with the Dread. The Horror Rift Weaver should put out a lot of damage, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. So I do end up popping them. I back up the Horror Rift Weaver, and then I sidestep my Devastated Butcher to just block off the Horror Rift Weaver for a turn. And I do kill the horde of zombie trolls with the front and the flank. And I do kill the regiment of zombies over here, which I was not expecting. But I got a lucky hit, lucky nerve roll, it looks like. So I position to where the regiment can't hit the front between these two. He can't see the soul flares with the regiment, so his only legal charge is the horde of scarecrows. So this is what it looks like, top or bottom of 3 for Matt's. And blurry picture, but this is what he decides to do. So on the left, he goes into the front of my Dreadfiend. He comes back into the front of these soul flares. Countercharge here. He double charges the horde, which slides over as much as it can. He then charges the horde with his regiment here, and he charges with his Pegasus into the Shadow Hulk. So a little bit closer up, so across the board here, much better quality now. And then these guys are just still going to sit over there for the rest of the game. So he kills the horde, sidesteps after combat into this position here. And he kills both my Dreadfiend and my Soul Flares over there on the left. So that left is needing a little help, but both these units are damaged currently, so I feel pretty confident on my right flank here. So you know, at this point it's very much still a game. He's got 3, 6, 9 unit strength over here, and even these vampires aren't even damaged, and I don't really have a good answer to them right now. So he has 12 unit strength that I'm not going to be able to really answer this turn here on turn 4. And I really only have 3, and I'm expecting, since this unit didn't break, to have this 3 as well. So it's a pretty close game scenario-wise here. I really need to start cleaning up some of these unit strength 3 units to kind of lock this one in. So after movement for me, I decide the soul flares here were better to hit, so this is in the flank here instead of this unit. Just positioning wise, I felt like this unit here was better positioned. So I charge the flank with this one, but it prevents me from charging the flank of the vampire with this unit because I can't slide over with my giant for the smart charge to actually work out. So my Shadow Hulk's just going to have to punch him in the face by himself. So there's the connection on the flank, and then I just reform 180 to turn around, at which point I just charge the Butcher in the front, and then the Horror Riftweaver in the flank, preventing a potential corkscrew charge into this unit here. And then the Devastated Butcher is just going into this guy, hoping to do just one wound to ground him at the very least. And obviously just back in here, and we just back up. We're going to keep out of charge range right now. And we're going to keep lightning bolting from the flank here. So after combat, I did get pretty lucky over here. I did 9 wounds, and I rolled the 8 twice. I was really just hoping for a waiver and then finish him off the next turn, but if you can kill a unit a turn earlier, it's usually a good thing for you. And then I punched the... or actually, the 9 wounds was from the Shadow Hulk to the Pegasus Lord. I forget about how much I did on the regiment there. And then in the middle here, we did a good number of wounds onto this regiment. I believe we wavered it, if I remember correctly. And then the lightning bolts are adding up. We're up to 10 wounds now. He's been life leeching a couple every turn he's in combat, but weren't able to quite break him yet. So this is what it looks like at start of Matt's turn on bottom of 4. And at this point, we're pretty conscious that we're running a little lower on time. So, like I said, with Matt being a little bit newer, we were taking our time explaining things, making sure that he knew the options he had and kind of the mechanics of the game more than anything. So we go into Matt's turn. This is post-combat again, but he triple charged the Horde and popped it. He charged the Butcher, killed it, and he ran forward with the Horde of Whites after that. He only got like 1 inch forward, but he was really wanting to get across the board with the unit strength rather than the positioning at this point, because right now he only had 3 unit strength across the board, and that was being charged by Reapers, he knew. And I have 6 over here that looks uncontested at this point. So he was just trying to play for scenario, which... in this case, obviously a low overrun, it would have been better to turn and face these guys coming at you in the flank, and he had actually turned these guys around to look at the guys behind him, and so up till this point, like I said, we were running a little lower on time, so I was just trying to make sure we got through the game here. So normally I would have explained, hey, this unit is in range, you want to turn it around, but with the time crunch, we kind of had to keep going here. So after my combat rolls, this is still moving. So after combat, we killed the Pegasus, we killed the vampires. We did not kill the Horde of Whites here, but we did kill the 2 on the left flank. So this was my positioning and the start of his turn. So he has just the Horde of Whites and then a couple of Necromancers left and the Rev Champ. So this is bottom of 5, and we knew this was the end of the game time-wise, so he goes and charges here, and then he has his lone necromancer back here charge this horde, which had like 13 wounds on it right now. So he is going in to that to try and pop it. And sure enough, he gets the one hit, one wound, and kills the unit. So, hey, it's pretty great. And he does kill the soul flares over there. So I don't have a picture of the end of the board, but if we back up just a little bit here, right about here. So the horde that's way off on the left is over the line. So I would have 3, 1 for the Shadow Hulk, 1, so that's 6, and then I have 2 there for 8, and then I have my 2 Mind Screeches on the far left for 10. And his whites having charged there were not across, so he did not have any unit strength at the end of the game across the board. But you know, Matt and I talked a lot, had a really fun game, and he really appreciated, you know, kind of stepping through, taking the extra time here. So this one was you know, a good kind of introduction demo game for him, and I think he learned a lot about his army and kind of the mechanics of Kings of War, which was really the goal. He said coming in, he didn't expect to win any games, but if he didn't play here, he wasn't going to be able to play ever. So really glad that he made it out. But unfortunately, I think some life stuff came up, and Matt did have to drop from the event either after our game or after the next game after this. So unfortunately, Matt wasn't able to play through the event, but again, I think he has a good army, and I think it's a good solid basis. So I hope that he comes out to some more events in the future. So all in all, it was max victory points for me, so 20-point victory at the end of game 1. So now we're going into game 2, so should have that one up here shortly. So I appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.